Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to my podcast, Snacks Thoughts. I say again, welcome to my podcast, Snacks Thoughts. And what is my thought for tonight? Well, this is a follow-on to the short that I did yesterday. And this podcast, Snacks Thoughts, this episode will be called Become Your Own Pioneer. And I'll say it again, become your own pioneer. And what am I talking about when I say that? Well, I'm looking at in light of the recent election, the current president and vice president and his cabinet, and this particular economy that we're in. And this is, obviously happening worldwide, but obviously I'm based in the United States, right now. And this economy is getting kind of crazy. And obviously the United States dollar is taking a beating, and the U.S. government has basically a lot of debt, and people are losing jobs left and right, possibility of maybe social programs maybe slashed or cut, or they will be cut come 2025. And maybe certain things such as Social Security may not be the same in the future as we know it. And so where I'm coming from with this, and I'm going to get to the point, and I'm going to just lay out maybe one or two examples, because everybody is in a different position, or you may have people that are in similar class levels and in similar situations, But anyway, when I talk about becoming your own pioneer, basically what I'm talking about is daring to make changes in your life and do something different. And in this particular aspect, I'm referring more or less to finances. And I'm going to say this up front. This is not financial advice or even career advice for anybody, but it's just something to think about. But, everything, there's always maybe a status quo or maybe a set way of doing things. As human beings, we're creatures of habit. And being mankind, we are orderly and we operate and function within a system, thus you have society, and thus you have culture, people that have similar way of thinking, similar beliefs, and that makes them like-minded, or they go into maybe you could say a group. But anyway, everything is always done a certain way, or it's something, it's the same until somebody discovers a different way to do things or something new. We can go back to the Louisiana discovery, or with Lewis and Clark. Supposedly Christopher Columbus, when he stumbled or discovered America. We could look at Henry Ford, when he invented the automobile. Or you could look at the Wright brothers when they invented the plane. Us landing on the moon back in, I believe it was either 1966 or 67. So certain things, these things were new back then because there was somebody that was the first to do it, or they discovered something. You could look at the internet. Before that, the military used it, and it was called the intranet. And then what the military did, they basically allowed it to be purchased by the civilian side, and obviously the internet came about. The same, and it goes on and on and on with discoveries and medicine and stuff like that. But what I'm trying to get to is that in this current times that we're in, people are going to have to change their way of thinking in terms of finances and in terms of their career path. And I really do feel for like the Gen Z and the younger generation coming up, because you guys kind of are getting somewhat of a hard way to go based on decisions that have been made by generations prior, or people that are in power, and which is, for most, it's you're not in control of it. But nevertheless, you got to work with the hand that you're dealt. And so gone are the days for many people, and I'm excluding the rich folks. Okay. The rich folks would be the exception to the rule, or exception to policy, because they have tremendous amounts of wealth. So in their particular case, they're not affected so long as they don't lose their wealth and they continue to maintain it. But I'm talking about for everybody else beneath, that's going to have to earn their living, in other conventional methods. Okay. And so anyway, gone are the days in many cases where you can rely on just one income in order to be able to deal with this inflation, and to have disposable income left over where you can save some money. You can invest, put some away for retirement. You can also invest and even maybe put money away, for your kids, college or something like that, and even be able to put a nice down payment down on a house. As you can see, the interest rates have changed. So seeing how times have changed and we're in a different economy, I personally believe that we are at the beginning of a depression, but they won't say it. Now they're calling it a recession. So whenever you hear mainstream media finally admit to things, that means that it's something that's already probably been going on for at least, probably a year, 6 months to a year at least. And they just finally have no choice but to admit it to the public. So we have to change our way of thinking in different strategies. Now, the example I want to give, and this is not just for young people, this is for people of all ages, because you have some senior citizens or older people that are struggling. You have people that are struggling at every age group, and even at every class level. And basically, one of the key things I would want you to take into consideration is debt to income ratio. Debt to income ratio is going to be important in what I'm saying, but basically you're going to have multiple streams of income in order to deal with the current situation and economy and the inflation that we're in. So basically you need one income to pay your rent, mortgage, and say maybe your insurance, medical, dental, stuff like that. And then maybe another stream of income to put away for your retirement, to put some money away for savings, and then to invest it maybe into other investments, and then maybe another stream of income so you can have maybe some spending money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you don't want to be become a slave, in a cog on a wheel. And I believe that's part of the reason why many people are wanting to quit or quiet quit, because they have become a cog in the wheel, and the rate of inflation is higher than what the Department of Labor has set the wages at. So people can't afford, to make it. Now, obviously, in any society, in any time, whether it's hard times or not, there is always going to be a certain group of people that are going to be thriving and prospering. And those would include, obviously, the rich, and then, certain portions of the middle class and the upper middle class, depending on what their financial situation is, and also involving their health. But a quick example that I want to give, and this right here is a true experience, as I am a veteran, and in my other videos, I mentioned about some of the pathways to success. the military is one of those pathways. It's not the only one, but it is one of those. Now, I was always told in the military that you're not going to get rich, but you will have a roof over your head, and you're going to be able to make it, and you'll have something decent. You're not going to be hungry. You'll have clothes on your back, and you will have shelter. Basic human needs, and obviously medical and dental. Healthcare. But there was a couple of years ago, I was working in a federal agency, and a lot of times, many of us veterans that are prior military, many times we go into the federal government. If we, those of us that choose to go back in the labor force, many times we do go wind up working for the federal government because we're used to the particular system and how it works, the bureaucracy. We're used to the government. That's what we're familiar with. And then also, generally speaking, that this is not always the case, but the federal government tends to be, pretty steady. It may not, in certain cases, it may not pay as high as, say, maybe the civilian side. But it is more steady. And so, word on the street is that there's a saying that goes, steady money, is better, than, say, maybe a large sum, but it may go up or down and it fluctuate. And so, in this particular case, myself and there was other vets, some of us were also retired, so we were drawing military pensions, and some were not retired. Some had served, but for many of us, we were bringing in multiple streams of income. Some of us had retirement pensions from the military. Some of us also had veterans disability compensation, and then also we're working, a full-time job with the federal government, and then some had other investments. Some might have had houses or dealt in real estate. Some had side hustles, Uber, DoorDash, whatever you can think of it, But all of these multiple streams of income, what it did, for many of us, it ensured, it basically enhanced, our individual finances. Sometimes some of us vets, we used to would laugh and joke amongst ourselves that we made more money than some of our bosses that I'm talking about that were really higher up, executive level. And some of us made more than some of them, or as much as some of them, because we had multiple streams of income. And so I understand that everybody is not in that situation, and especially for, say, maybe the young folks, but some may not be retired yet. And so I'm basically trying to give you a blueprint. So I'm just using an example. So if you have a veteran that's retired from the military, okay, so now they have, say, their VA compensation, that's one stream of passive income. Then they have, say, a retiree pension. That's another stream, of passive income. And then some may even have real estate investment where they own property, and they get paid, rent from tenants. That's another stream of passive income. Or some of us may have had other, side hustles. Some things online, maybe like I said, DoorDash, Uber, or maybe doing consulting, and some had businesses maybe as doing maybe a notary. I mean, there's all types of things, but for those that may not be in that particular situation, what you're going to have to do, you got to adapt it to your individual situation. So I believe personally, this is my personal opinion, I believe that every individual that is in the labor force, I believe that unless you work a job that's extremely high paying, I think that you need now, because of this inflation and this unstable economy, I would say you need at least 2 to 3 different streams of income to get your own back. And so I'm going to share a quick story. In my particular case, I had a clean record when I was working for the feds, and sometimes you can get into you have different personalities, in the workplace, and sometimes things don't work out, and you may not necessarily get along, with your boss. Now, in my case, I got along with everybody, but sometimes people are people, you know what I'm saying? And you may have certain bosses that may not like you for whatever reason. Hey, it is what it is, And so there was a situation that had came up, and so they're trying to give me a hard time, and some of it could be could be maybe some envy or jealousy, or they don't like the idea that the job that you're working is like is just a side hustle to you or another stream of income. Well, he doesn't really need it as bad. So they tried to give me a little bit of a hard time, and so basically having to deal with HR. And I'm talking about I got a clean record. So it's like, hey, dude, you got to go through a whole lot, to try to do anything to me. And then you might get yourself sued, And so I sat there and thought about it after I had the meetings with my boss. He said, yeah, we can work something out, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, make a long story short, because I had multiple streams of income and I'm going to say this again, debt to income ratio was well managed. I was in a position where I could fire my job or fire my boss. And so what I did, I took a look, I looked at my finance. I said, hey, wait a minute, let me look at this here. Okay, what I got, I had money in the bank. What I got in the bank, what am I bringing in? And do I actually need this job? And when I looked at everything that I was bringing in, it's like the answer was no, I didn't need it. So I turned around, and after having a meeting with HR and my boss and all that stuff like that, I quit the job within 3 hours and, say, hey, wish them well, and went on about my business. And I have not been back in the labor force, since, But the reason that and there are others that have done it and are able to do that is because had multiple streams of income, and also my debt to income ratio was well managed. And that's the key. If you have your debt to income ratio well managed, you have control of your life. As long as you have excessive amount of debt, then you kind of gonna be forced, to more or less need the job more than it needs you. And granted, when you do work for an employer, we want to do our best, and we should. Other than that, you should not take a contract, or get hired for a position if you don't intend to give that employer the best, that you have. I definitely believe in that, give them their money's worth, and then some, but don't be a slave, to the job, for those that can help it. But I use that as an example. And so, there's others. I got, others of my buddies, some that have that left, they retired, left the labor force, and some have gone overseas, but and maybe started other businesses or might have went to another career. But what my point is that we have options. That's the key. We have options, and that's what you have. And this right here, and especially for young folks, okay, granted, you may not be retired yet, but what you can still do is use the same blueprint. Now, in order for you to create passive streams of income, or if you're going to even have side hustles or a business on the side, there's going to be a point where you're going to have to invest and exchange some time, for money in order to build it up. Not unless you have enough money to put your money to work for you. But basically, you need to make sure your debt to income ratio is well managed, and, like I said, get you some side hustles. You're going to have to be prepared to do things a different way. And you're going to have to, in a sense, go against the grain and stop worrying about what the masses are telling you. Because most people are used to doing the drone worker type stuff. And they may be, a bit afraid, or maybe they can't, step out like that, But we have to think differently in these particular times, because things have changed. The labor force has changed, and I would say definitely for you young folks, you guys are tech savvy. So take advantage, of creating streams of income using technology. You may have to start off, okay, you may work one job and say maybe you do, maybe Uber, and then maybe you get something online. You're going to have to take a portion of that money and then flip it, into something that could bring you a return on investment. And if you do this over time, especially for you young folks, you can be leaving or exiting retiring early. You know, you can be retiring before you're even 40 or even in your 30s, you know, if you know how to invest right now. Like I said, this is not financial advice. And, you know, you also have, you know, new opportunities with cryptocurrency and altcoins. You know what I'm saying? Now, I mean, some people may not like crypto, but crypto is here to stay and it's starting to boom, you know, and so, I am investing in crypto and I've made money off of crypto. So to me, I like it. I understand that it's very volatile, but this is where it comes in, managing your debt to income ratio, and make sure you have enough disposable income to throw into investments. If you don't have disposable income, you can't put money into a retirement. If you don't have disposable income, you cannot put money away in savings. You know, or, you know what I'm saying, you got to have a little bit of money to burn. You know what I'm saying? No disposable income, no vacations. You know what I'm saying? No disposable income, no home. You see what I'm saying? So you got to use common sense, and each person has to know what their situation is, but the blueprint is the same. You know, it's whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying? This life isn't fair. This economy isn't fair. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think outside the box. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. You know, you do whatever it takes to get your paper up and to manage your debt to income ratio. You know what I'm saying? And for some, maybe digital nomading it, you know, saying business on the side, you know, and then moving to a location where your currency goes further in another country. These are all different options, you know. I'm just throwing out some options for you, but you have to think, you have to strategize differently because things as we know it have changed, and I would suspect in the future that there's going to be some more changes. So you got to CYA, you know, or CYB, cover your own, you know, CYOB, cover your own behind. You know what I'm saying? Because certain systems may not be in place, and then you got to have even maybe some solid investments. You know what I'm saying? If you can, buy a little bit of, you know, precious metals also, you know what I'm saying, just to back yourself up. But a little bit at a time goes a long way. And for those of us that are not rich, you know what I'm saying, every breadcrumb counts. If you put a bunch of breadcrumbs together, they make a slice of bread. You keep getting multiple slices, you eventually have a whole loaf. But that's all I have on this one. And the name of this podcast is Snacks Thoughts. That's SNAKZTHOUGHTS. And you can find my podcast on Spotify, Spreaker, Radio PBM, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and a host of other social media outlets. So please join Snacks Thoughts. And also, I have a YouTube channel, Eric Broadus YouTube. That's ERICBROADUS. Eric Broadus YouTube, or ericbroadusyoutube.com. So please go over to my YouTube channel. Smash the bell to become a subscriber. Smash the like button to like the video. If you don't like it, smash the unlike button. Either way, leave a comment. You know, love to dialogue with you. Everyone is entitled to their opinion and their perspective. And so, you know, I like to hear what you say and say what you have to say. And maybe you have some other tidbits of information to give. But this right here is just my perspective. And I am literally, I'm not just talking it, I'm walking the walk. You know, but anyway, guys, that's all I have. And so please share Snacks Thoughts and Eric Broadus YouTube. Share it with friends, family, frenemies, enemies, rats, dogs, bats, goats. Share it, push it out. Hey, maybe the animals may have cell phones in the future, and they may be on social media. Peace out, guys. Catch you on the next one later.